right, folks, we will go ahead and get started. Can everybody hear me? Perfect. Okay. So hello and welcome. My name is Nikki Kerslake. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator at the Learning Disabilities Association of Manitoba, where we believe that everybody can learn. The Learning Disabilities Association of Manitoba is an organization that has supported Manitobans living with learning disabilities and ADHD for over 50 years. We provide programming, support, and advocacy for individuals impacted by learning disabilities. Our goal is to foster self-worth and empower Manitobans living with learning disabilities, and we are committed to changing perceptions and reducing stigmas about learning disabilities. We offer a number of programs to support our community of all ages. Our Aerosmith program was founded by Barbara Aerosmith Young. It's rooted in the principles of neuroplasticity and uses a series of cognitive exercises to target, stimulate, and strengthen particular functions of the brain. We have been offering it since 2013. Our Lego Club is a social development program that teaches students how to work as a team to solve a problem. Lego Club provides a safe and inviting space where youth can learn and practice independent social skills. Links is designed for children ages 7 to 12 who need support with literacy development. Our Links program is dedicated to helping children become competent and independent learners by building their confidence and trying to create positive experiences with good books and writing. Our Robotics program is a fun and interactive program that teaches students how to follow basic instructions, social and team skills, basic coding, and entry-level computer science skills. We also offer a weekly support group for adults living with ADHD that takes place every Monday evening. Currently, it's taking place virtually, but we hope to be able to bring it back to our organization soon when it's safe to do so. We also offer some parenting workshops where we partner with Lori Kroll, who's a parent educator with over 20 years of experience. Lori provides workshops and one-on-one services to assist parents on their journey. Learning disabilities affect the brain's ability to store, process, retrieve, or communicate information. Learning disabilities are not just a challenge that individuals face during their school years. These difficulties follow individuals into adulthood, affecting relationships, their performance in the workplace, and often have an impact on individuals' mental health. Now I wanted to take a few minutes just to touch on learning disabilities and give you some more information about what they are. Dyslexia, which is likely the one that most people have heard about or are familiar with, is a language-based disability in which a person has trouble understanding words, sentences, or paragraphs. Dyscalculia is a mathematical disability in which a person has a very difficult time solving arithmetic problems and grasping math concepts. Dysgraphia is a writing disability in which a person finds it hard to form letters correctly or write within a defined space. And dyspraxia is a neurological disorder that impacts an individual's ability to plan and process motor tasks. Someone with dyspraxia, they may appear clumsy, they may have trouble tying their shoes. In more severe cases, individuals with this disorder may not be able to walk down the stairs or drive a car. Learning disabilities also include processing disorders such as auditory and visual. These sensory disabilities affect a person's ability to understand language despite normal hearing and vision. A person with ADHD has a difference in brain development and brain activity that affect attention, the ability to sit still, and self-control. I also wanted to quickly touch on some of the common signs of learning disabilities and how signs can change and evolve at certain stages of life. Pardon me. All of this information is available on our website if you want to go sit with it for a little bit longer and kind of read through. So some kind of extra facts about learning disabilities. Children with learning disabilities grow up to be adults with learning disabilities. They are lifelong. So a lot of times, or in, I think, situations often, they find, okay, we got the kid through, you get through schooling and then you're done, you're cured. But learning disabilities, as I mentioned before, can impact, your workplace, your relationships, kind of everything like that. Attention disorders such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, and learning disabilities often occur at the same time, but the two disorders are not the same. Difficulty with basic reading and language skills are the most common learning disabilities, as many as 80% of students with learning disabilities have reading problems. Also, kids with learning disabilities often have average to above average intelligence. Individuals with learning disabilities. A little bonus fun fact is that Bill Gates actually had a learning disability. Can you imagine what your life would look like if Microsoft was never created? This presentation quite literally would not be possible without it. It's kind of crazy. So now I just want to touch on some celebrities or some kind of well-known folks who have learning disabilities and have been quite open about talking about what they've gone through. So Jamie Oliver, most people know Jamie Oliver because he's a chef. He's, I think, had, dozens of TV shows at this point, has released quite a few cookbooks, and is quite passionate about being able to give somebody something that they can create that's affordable. So he has a wonderful video that was made by Dyslexia, where he discusses what school was like for him. I really encourage everybody to go check it out. It's a quick 3-minute interview where he touches on a few really important things. He talks about how there are different types of intelligence and everybody has their own ability to be brilliant. Schools should provide kids with the opportunity to find their inner genius and their inner confidence. He's quite passionate about the need for support for kids with dyslexia and other learning disabilities within the UK in their education system. He also has a really great quote about how you can be good at something very simple that you can turn into your life's work. Something that you enjoy that makes you want to get out of bed with a spark in your eye. So a lot of times, if you're not quite, you're not good at the black and white, academia or the traditional education, LA social studies, geography, math, all that kind of stuff. You can find something where you can be creative, like painting or drawing or, something like that, where you can really turn it into your life's work. Next up is Lisa Ling. Award-winning TV journalist Lisa Ling was diagnosed with ADHD at 40 years old. During a report on her show, Our America with Lisa Ling, she reported on the impact ADHD has on millions of children. It was after she described her focus issues growing up that experts diagnosed her with ADHD. I feel a bit of relief because for so long I've been fighting it, and I've been so frustrated with my inability to focus, she stated in an episode after receiving her diagnosis. She credits her ADHD for making her the person she is today. It was the ability she had to hyper-focus on the things that she was passionate about that led her to being an award-winning TV journalist and correspondent for ABC News and The Oprah Winfrey Show. Steven Spielberg is an American filmmaker known for Jurassic Park, the Indiana Jones series, Jaws, and many, many more. One of the most popular producers and directors in film history, Spielberg was diagnosed with dyslexia at the age of 60. His diagnosis helped him explain his struggles in school. He started making films at the age of 12 and eventually dropped out of college when he was offered a Universal Studios internship. He wants young adults to know, with learning disabilities, to know you are not alone, and while you have dyslexia for the rest of your life, you can dart between the raindrops to get where you want to go. It's not going to hold you back. Whoopi Goldberg is one of only a small number of people who have won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony, or an EGOT. She's also dyslexic. Growing up, she had trouble reading and was often called dumb, a reality that many children with learning differences face despite having average to superior intelligence. Through her career, she's found tips and tricks that have helped her succeed in the entertainment business. For scripts, she found that she learns best when somebody reads it to her. And for her writing, she likes to dictate. When she was asked how being dyslexic impacted her, she said, "I think perhaps it made me more introspective. It made me more thoughtful, maybe slightly slower in how I do things because it takes me a minute to sometimes figure things out." So we also wanted to touch on some really great resources that are available. Starting off with our website, like I said, a lot of the information in this presentation that we've kind of gone through is all found on our website, including, some more things. A really wonderful book is called The Woman Who Changed Her Brain. It's written by Barbara Arrowsmith Young, and if you remember at the beginning of the presentation, she is the person who created the Arrowsmith program, which we offer at our school. Lost at School, written by Ross Green, is a super wonderful book that I don't think I could recommend more. We recently read it, and it's incredible and eye-opening, and it partners the intellectual reading with stories so you can kind of better understand what the real life practices would look like. Made by Dyslexia, as I mentioned before, when I was discussing Jamie Oliver, they have a great website with a lot of resources about dyslexia. They also have a wonderful YouTube page where they have a bunch of different interviews with, celebrities, chefs, athletes, kind of everybody who have found success, who have dyslexia. LD at School is another great resource that has a lot of wonderful articles. Recently, they've been putting out a lot of stuff for parents, for at-home learning, that kind of stuff. Some organizational tips, some apps and stuff that are really helpful for learning from home. And the last one is Attitude. It's I think it's the go-to resource for ADD and ADHD. They have articles, they have things written by experts. Once or twice a month, they'll have free webinars that they host that we always post on our Facebook page, hosted by different people with ADHD, touching on different types of topics and things. They have one coming up at the end of June. I think it's June 25th. I do want to end off with a video that I'll put on in just a second. But if you kind of take away anything from this presentation, my hope is that you know that the Learning Disabilities Association of Manitoba is here. We're available. We have endless resources. We have really, really great programs. And we're there for those who do have learning disabilities, but also those who are impacted by learning disabilities day to day. So parents, teachers, educators, grandparents, anything like that. Even if it's to offer an ear to listen, we're here and we're available to do so. So as I mentioned, I want to show you guys a video. It's an interview with one of our current students, led by our executive director, Karen Belthouse. Denier is, as I mentioned, a current student who's also returning next year. He'll share his thoughts and experiences about what it's like living with a learning disability and how he feels our Arrowsmith program has impacted his life. Denier is also a regular attendee of Lego Club, one of our other programs that I mentioned earlier. Now, just give me a second and I will get that set up. Can everybody see the video screen? Perfect. Just want to make sure it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell on this end.
Danielle, can you tell me what it's like to have a learning disability?
Yes, you just learn things differently, and it's harder to understand certain things. Like, for example, you might not know you're doing something wrong, and you are. That's just an example, or you might not understand something the same as other people would. Sorry, that was my watch. And you might act different.
Okay. So when you were in school, think back to when you were in school, in traditional school. What were some of the things that you struggled with when you were trying to learn in a classroom? What happened?
Probably math.
Okay.
It's my enemy. Definitely my enemy.
So what happens when the teacher would be up in the class trying to teach you?
Be distracted.
Okay.
And not know what to do. And I usually, even sometimes when I do listen, I wouldn't understand what they're trying to say. Okay. That's kind of frustrating.
And did you ever feel uncomfortable asking questions?
Sometimes, yeah, but when I did, I was comfortable, but then I'd ask a question. I don't know why everyone would giggle, because maybe I said something, maybe I stumbled on something. I don't know. It's they won't understand you as much. You might say things differently.
Mm-hmm.
You may pronounce things without an S or something.
So you found that people were laughing at you and.
Yeah, not all the time. So I did have friends.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. So when you came to the Aerosmith program, what was different about coming to the Aerosmith program from what you experienced at school?
Practically everything.
Okay.
It was went from one thing to another thing. It's going from Earth to Mars. Even though I haven't been there.
Okay. So if school is Earth and Aerosmith is Mars.
Yes.
What's happening on Mars that's not happening on Earth?
Well, let's say Earth. This is my old school or school. People make a lot more ruder jokes and are usually disrespectful. Here, they're really supportive. I mean, they try to be supportive at school, but there's so many other people that need to help. There's only a selective amount, there's only a selected number of people that they can help.
Right. So here, it's a smaller class, right? So you're not feeling like you're getting lost with all the different questions that people are asking all the time.
Yeah.
Is that what I hear?
When I first went here, I was like, oh no, I'm going to school where I need to get help. And I was like, oh no, I thought, I didn't know, I knew I had a little bit of disability, but I didn't really understand. I was like, oh no, I'm going to need some mental help or something like that. I was freaking out.
So now you've been here for a year.
Yes.
Do you feel that way?
No. It's just trying to help you with it's like a school.
Okay. So when you think about the work that you do for Aerosmith, have you noticed that it's made a difference in your day-to-day life?
Yes.
Okay. And what kinds of things are happening for you?
Big difference. Been noticing how when I say stuff to my brother or sister that they may be not happy with what I'm saying or something like that, and I will know that they're how they're feeling more, and I usually think more before I do or say something, a lot more than before. I mean, I still need to work on that, but it's getting better.
That's great.
When I don't keep doing it over and over again. Once they say it and I say I'm going to do it, it's getting better. It's still something to grow up, and also probably interacting with people, socializing,
okay,
and controlling myself and anger.
Okay. So socializing, let's talk about that a little bit. Did you have a hard time? I know you said you had friends at your other school, but for the most part, did you have a hard time socializing with people?
Not really. I just wouldn't really. I kind of they wouldn't really understand what I'm saying. I try to explain something. I mean, I explained certain things, but it's hard to explain. I was good with it, but like I don't know exactly why. It's strange. That's why learning disabilities is real weird.
I remember the first day you actually were here.
I didn't talk to anyone.
You didn't, but I remember you sitting, talking to a couple of new people, and you were taking some time to compare what was happening with your own circumstances. And I remember everyone sharing that, and you were actually really open about sharing, and you felt comfortable sharing. And I remember you actually saying, "What? I thought I was the only one that happened to." I remember you saying that. So it's really nice to see that you feel like this is a community that supports you.
Yes, that actually, well, I forgot all about that.
Do you remember that day?
Yes, now I do.
Yeah, I remember that day very well, and it still brings tears to my eyes every time I think about it. It does. I was very touched by that. Are you excited about coming back next year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Lego. Just kidding. Oh, Lego.
Lego's part of what we do.
New people, helping other people, making new videos, probably, making new friends.
So just based on this conversation and some of the things you've mentioned that you're doing, we haven't talked about math, we haven't talked about science, we haven't talked about English. You're doing some very different things than you would have done in school, right? The traditional way of what people would think of school.
Yeah, that's why we have academics, so you don't lose that. I mean, I would never lose science. That's my thing.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we're excited to have you come back next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the end of the video. I know we kind of have to probably go to the next session, but are there any questions?
If you do have any questions, you can either type them in the chat or you can turn your mic on. All right, kind of looks like we don't have any major questions that I can see popping up. On that note, then, I would like to thank Nikki, you and your team for presenting today. This is very valuable information, and parents and teachers will have access to this moving forward for the next 7 days. So we're excited to be able to reach more people than just the ones who are able to log in with us today. We know that today is a pretty tough time for educators as they're trying to navigate coming back into the school buildings and helping those who need it most, which I think that in this particular situation, we're going to see a lot of, extra training and education and gap learning that will need to be done, especially with those who struggle with disabilities. So we're very appreciative that you came with us today and joined our session. And we wish you guys all the best for the rest of the day. I will mention that we do have our keynote starting in a few minutes, and it will be exciting and impactful, but also a reminder to check out and fill out our survey. We have a survey for this particular session and one as well overall for the event today. So thank you very much, Nikki, and everyone have a great rest of your day.
Yes.